All right, Bears fans, getting a little bit wild out here. Ben Johnson finally gave his asking price on what it's going to take to hire him as a head coach, and the Chicago Bears insiders have leaked, I should say, 4 coaches that are on the short list for the Bears head coaching position. Now, I can tell you this, until Sunday, there were 5 names on that list, but we have, after one game, recognized that the Bears are even worse without Matt Eberflus than they were with Matt Eberflus. And that is fascinating and wild. So, if you like this type of content, make sure you hit the like button. On the way in, let's put out these 4 guys before we talk about who the prohibitive favorite is, and let's see what happens. Make sure you hit that like button, by the way. Ben Johnson, Brian Flores, Joe Brady, and Mike Vrabel are the 4 guys. Now, here is where it gets interesting, okay? Vrabel, he's one of those, they call him a leader of men, if you will. This is one of those guys who was the head coach of the Titans. They made 3 postseason appearances over 6 seasons, and they looked tough. If they didn't look like a great team from a technical standpoint, they were a tough, hard-nosed football team, and that's exactly what the Chicago Bears want. We're a cold weather environment. We need to be a strong, tough team, and we need to have that sort of toughness, and that seems to be important, at least in this division. So I think that it would be a natural fit, Mike Vrabel, in that context, but I don't know. Brian Flores, I felt like, gave the Dolphins that kind of identity as well. He was the coach there, about 500 record over the last 3 seasons, so I like those, but the guy, the man, and then Joe Brady, he's an offensive coordinator, so I think that a lot of people are looking at Joe Brady to be the next one, but the number 1 guy is Ben Johnson. Ben Johnson is the man that everybody's looking for, and we finally know what Ben Johnson's asking price is. And, the article came out, the teams, we're talking about right now, the Detroit Lions, they're 12-1, closing out on their 2nd straight division title. We, by the way, look, it is my opinion, we are a better team overall, top to bottom, matchup-wise, than Detroit. And, why we can't seem to seal that deal appears to me to be a coaching thing, that we haven't coached up our players in a manner becoming of a champion, and that's why we haven't won. That's been the prohibitive thing. It hasn't been that we lack the talent. We actually have the talent on the team. We're just not maximizing that talent. Now, and that's a sidetrack for me. I digress. But Ben Johnson is asking for $15 million. Now, some of you might be staring at this right now saying, well, then Ben Johnson's out. And you know what? That might be the case. But Ben Johnson feels that he has a ton of value. And listen, there are going to be a lot of people who are willing to throw a lot of money at Ben Johnson, okay? Dallas Cowboys are going to be looking for a head coach coming up pretty soon. When we start looking at, who are the worst performing teams in the league, Carolina might be looking for a new head coach. There's a lot of different places that he might be able to go. Mike McCarthy, definitely in the list here. But Ben Johnson, $15 million. And look, here's what everybody's making, right? Andy Reid currently making $20 million. Jim Harbaugh making $16 million. Sean McVay making $15 million. Ben Johnson believes he should be paid the same amount of money as these guys. Nobody disputes that head coaching, but that feels a little ridiculous. That is from somebody who's poor and doesn't have the money to pay a $15 million. So to give your opinion of that, you know what? The market is what the market is. Now, if we don't pay market price for an elite guy, then here's what we get. We get Matt Eberflus. We get Thomas Brown. We get the people who can't motivate a team. We get people who don't have the idea, that cannot do what we need them to do at a high level to make this team a winner. And look, it should be noted that there were some statistics that were coming out yesterday, and these statistics are beyond crazy. It has been since the 1980s that the Bears have put together 3 winning seasons in a row. Think about that. Think about that for just a moment here. It's been it's been 40 years since the Bears have strung together 3 winning seasons in a row. How bad of a franchise and team do you have to be? How many boneheaded type, let's do it on the cheap decisions do you have to make in order for that to be the case, even during the Lovie Smith era? So, and look, we went to the Super Bowl with Lovie Smith. So, you should at least consider here that, the Bears are going to have to pay deep. And if the McCaskies don't want to do that, well, then we are who we are, and we're going to continue to be what we've been so far. We're going to have wasted Caleb Williams. We're going to have wasted Rome Odunze. And for some of you, you'll be like, well, I don't think Tyson Bagent is better. He's not. If he were, he'd be the starter. And it didn't take Matt Eberflus or Shane Waldron or Thomas Brown. Nobody is out here challenging that Caleb Williams is the better choice to lead this team. So if you are one who's like, well, the obvious answer is to bench Caleb Williams, that's a stupid answer, and you're not thinking clearly. You're not watching the product on the field. You're putting your hopes and your dreams into a wish that you wish Tyson Bagent was better than he is. And by the way, that's no disrespect to Tyson Bagent. I think Tyson Bagent deserves to be a starter in the league, but he is not Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams now gone 7 games without an interception, and if your entire argument is, well, he had this one fumble one time on Sunday, well, it's a stupid take too, because again, this is a game of statistics, and statistically, Caleb Williams is going to throw for 3,500 yards in his first season in the NFL with about 21 or 22 touchdowns. He's only got 5 interceptions so far, maybe 7 interceptions by the end of this season, unless he just doesn't throw another one for the end of this season. So, and 500 yards rushing, okay? This is 1,000 yards better than your boy Justin Fields. So, pamp that shit down and stop crying about it. Now, guys, look, Ben Johnson is probably the guy that we're going to take the hardest look at. And I think that everybody, by the way, everybody who's a Bears fan, for the most part, is going to be disappointed if it's not him, or if it's not Joe Brady, because I think that everybody understands that the thing that's not working the most right now, and the thing that has to work the best in this league, it's not your defense. Defense might win games, but your offense is what scores enough points to give your defense a chance. It doesn't matter how good your defense is, and the Bears have a legitimately good defense, but the Bears cannot hold teams under 20 points or 15 points every single game. It just doesn't work that way in the NFL. You have to score points. The important part in this league is that the rules are based around the offense scoring. It's not about the defense holding people. If you hit somebody a little bit too late, you get penalized. If you touch a quarterback, you get penalized. If you breathe near Patrick Mahomes, you turn the ball over, you give up a touchdown and 5 sacks to your quarterback as he has to stand there and take a beating from the other team because you've invaded Patrick Mahomes' space. You guys know what I'm talking about. You see. But you've got to find a way to get the offense going, especially when you have the talent on this offense that you have right now. Now, hit that like button again for me, please. I'm going to wrap this up right now. Thank you so much for tuning in. Ben Johnson is the prohibitive favorite. I don't think Mike Vrabel really figures into this very well. Brian Flores, I'm not gonna be unhappy with any of these selections, but I do think that if it is not Ben Johnson, there's going to be a lot of people in the Chicago Bears area who are going to be real unhappy with the McCaskies, and we're going to hear a whole lot more about Jeff Bezos come in and buy this team, and for the love of God, save us from the McCaskies. So let me know what you think again in the comments down below. Thank you so much for tuning in, and bear down.